Greetings, weary travelers, come, warm yourself by the fire, and let us regale you with mighty tales, tales of adventure, tales of heroism, and of course, tales of Tamriel. Brought to you by the unofficial Elder Scrolls pages, I am your host, Arkhaniir Silver Shield, and I'm joined by the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, Lotus of Doom himself. How's it going, Lotus?
I am good. It has been far too long since the last show / the last time I was here as well. So, and we're on a Tuesday recording at 9 Eastern. For anybody looking for the live show, it's definitely been a little off kilter with schedule. So
we haven't done anything show related in like 10 days because we made the mistake. I know you guys got
swamped when I was away at PAX, and then it didn't work directly after that because I ended up with an emergency thing. Doc couldn't make it. So it's just been one thing after another.
We made the mistake of making actual plans, and obviously whenever we make plans, we upset Molag Bal himself because he takes it personally that we are making plans while he's the Daedric Prince of plans, and he just sabotages everything. So yeah, basically our thought was, okay, Lotus is gonna go to PAX East. We are gonna record without Lotus while he's at PAX East with Doc, and then when Lotus gets back, we are gonna make a special episode for PAX East. And then we are gonna go back on to our like normal routine where we are testing PTS, talk about all the PTS things and stuff like that. None of which worked. All the plans were foiled. So here we are, on a Tuesday, early morning for me once again, and evening for Lotus, and we don't have anything prepared.
At work.
Doc is stuck at work. We don't have anything prepared. This is a full spontaneous episode.
We really didn't want to have it go like another week without something. Also, going forward, we're going to have to fudge in another weird time for this because upcoming on Sunday, when we would normally be recording, is Mother's Day / Boots' birthday. It's a dual holiday here in this family. So that's probably not going to work either. So we're going to have to find something else to work with. It's also so late at night, or early for you, Ark, because I basically got out of work, had to do some yard stuff so that we could like actually take Boots out, as like everything is like hyper growing now that it's like hot, and we just had like a rainstorm, so it dried off. So like everything got freaky long. So I had to like emergency clear out the yard, and I'm like, cool, I should be able to make it by 9 p.m. So I showered, and now I'm here. So it's like timing is great.
But we'll get back on track. We'll get back on track.
Exactly.
This is pre-chapter launch randomness, if you will, for the show.
Thing, right, to that point too, it's not that there's no news which we'll cover, but it's not like the deluge of everything that hits. Everybody's in game all the time, so there's a million tales and stuff like that. It's a little more in the waiting for everything to unveil coming up. So I guess for everything to get completely off the rails timing wise, this is at least a better time for it.
I mean, if it had happened like right at the chapter launch, that would have been not fun, because
or a week before, and we wouldn't have been able to talk about the like private thing that we got to see behind the scenes. That would have been a huge waste. Thanks for the invite. We can't talk about it.
I'm glad we actually got that out of the way before everything fell apart. But
right.
I've been actually like planning to stream on this like old new channel, whatever you want to call it, twitch.tv/Tales of Tamriel, to get affiliated and everything like that. I was just gonna log into PTS and do just random stuff, but then a lot of work stuff happened on my end. Life went from like, hey, this is pretty monotone, to, hey, let's throw everything at you at the same time and see how you handle all of that and juggle your way out of it. So I ended up not playing anything for the last couple of weeks. Literally, like yesterday was the first time I opened up a game, and it was Star Citizen, and I just set up my controls because there was a new patch, and that was about it pretty much. But yeah, we'll be back to our regular stuff, and this Shanty in chat says this channel is clearly undead. It's being resurrected. It's not technically undead. It's in the process, like it's in the area between undead and alive-ish.
It's lich mode right now.
Yeah.
Just don't mess with the phylactery or the whole channel's going to blow up.
But yeah, so basically that is why we haven't recorded last week. That is why we are recording on an odd time this week, and that is why we'll be recording on an odd time next week. Basically,
right.
The short story of it is that. So we do have a show somewhat prepared though, nonetheless. And if not, we'll just ramble our way through it for another 2 hours, and it will just be a classic Tales episode.
Yeah, I was going to say, so nothing will be different.
Yeah. So before we move on to the game news and everything like that, Lotus, you have something exciting and very beneficial to share with people. What is it?
Yes. So one thing that happened, it actually happened when I was at PAX East, which was rough because I was trying to manage notifications on stuff like that, but I was very excited about it. Some other people in the community have also received this, but Bethesda was doing a thing where they were looking for what's called brand ambassadors, which is not great naming specifically. It's like calling somebody an influencer or whatever. Those terms give me the cringes, but nonetheless, the idea is that you kind of represent stuff from them. And to anybody who's ever seen my streams or the live version of this show with the absolute wall of nerdy crap behind me, specifically from it's like 90% Bethesda based between Quake, Fallout, and like Doom and Elder Scrolls. It's yeah. So I was accepted as one of the brand ambassadors, which is cool and all, but the main reason that it's worth bringing up specifically on this show, it's on my Twitter as well, is we've joked more than once about how the stuff in the Bethesda store is really cool, but it's not inexpensive to say the least.
Yeah.
Specifically with shipping. I always mention that it's like you kind of get what you pay for, but it can be rough price wise. So the benefits of this, other than I get to see some behind the scenes stuff, no, I don't actually get free stuff, which is fine because I spend a bunch of money there anyways. But the thing that I am able to do, which is why it's worth mentioning, and we'll provide the code and link to it in like the show notes or something like that. If you are going to order something from BethesdaGear.com, there is a link, and I will be able to keep providing codes for getting 20% off of whatever you buy. So it'll make your stuff cheaper, i.e. the reason it's kind of worth mentioning. I did it because I wanted to see stuff early, and this is something that I was kind of hoping they would do, and it is. A couple people have already tried it, so thank you to everybody who has tested out the code to find out if it... not to sound skeptical, to make sure it worked. And it has, supposedly. So that's pretty cool. So if you are planning to order anything from the Bethesda Gear Store, hit me up or check with us at Tails, and ideally we'll be able to get you something for less money. And if I get promo stuff, I'll make sure to shout it out. So that's exactly, kid. So when you're in a region that's not the US, it will suck less. Exactly. But yeah, so that's like pretty exciting. And since I'm basically a walking advertisement for Bethesda anyways with all the junk I buy, it seemed kind of like a pretty good mix. But yeah, that's pretty much that big announcement.
There you go. Yeah, I don't know how, like, what sort of links and whatnot there are, but we'll
I'll give you
if
one.
there's stuff we can link, we'll just drop them in the show notes. And if you are listening to this in audio format, I think in the like applications that I use, for example on Spotify, if you click like read more on the little show description, it brings up like a full episode context, in which the links might be clickable, or you might need to copy paste. I don't know, or just reach out to us on Discord. It's
it's
or
pretty
on Twitter.
easy. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward from what I've seen.
Yeah.
So just if you plan on ordering anything, no longer pay full price.
Yeah. So, yeah. And if you don't know where our Discord and whatnot is, go to talesoftamrielpodcast.com, which is also brand new-ish. So, all the links are there now in a singular place. But yeah, Lotus is just moving up the chain in being the man, the legend in the Bethesda. Yeah, in the Bethesda world. Oh, man. That's good though. That's good.
Yeah,
I might use it as well. I'll have to
hey,
look
whatever.
at the
I'll
store.
shill away if it gets everybody cheaper stuff.
Look, man, for all the good and bad Bethesda may have, faced in the past few years, I am not ashamed to admit I will simp for Bethesda. They created the games that brought me to today, so I've got no complaints. I mean, I will criticize when it's due, but I'm a fanboy. I'm not gonna hide it.
Well, that's just, I mean, before we move on, one of the things that I do joke about is, like, we wouldn't run a podcast about the stuff if we didn't like it, even when we criticize it. It's real easy to tell if I don't like something because I stop. I have a brief period of annoyance and then I stop having anything to do with it. so the second you see me complain on Tales and then have nothing to do with Elder Scrolls, then you'd know I actually had a problem with them. So that's never been the case.
All right, so that brings us to the game news stuff.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't had the time, as I said, because of dealing with time, to follow really anything in any gaming areas. I've just been swamped with work and my own project, so I don't know what's been going on. So, Lotus, why don't you take over this part?
Sure.
Actually, you are going to be pretty much doing the talking today entirely. So I'll just do the segues and stuff like that.
Whatever. It'll work fine, and it'll just be a podcast that I won't like as much because when I have to re-listen to these and it's too much me, it's problematic. The big thing is because the servers, I believe, are back up and running. The hardware refresh of the PCNA data center is finished, I guess, since it was supposed to be concluded with maintenance. So it wasn't supposed to have a major performance increase, which maybe this is my lack of understanding, but I don't know how that's physically possible, even if that's not the focus of it, just to upgrade the stuff. It just seems like in the end, it would have some type of positive benefit, but I guess we'll see. That's not really... It's
probably going to be more stable. Like, remember how when they released
even I would consider it improvement, though.
Yeah, like, remember when they released the patch that seemingly broke everything, the DLC, or I forgot the DLC's name, but the DLC that started this whole season, and everything broke.
The Rising Tide or Ascending Tide.
Everything broke, and it was actually like a faulty hardware piece.
Right.
So we'll probably have less of those happen.
That would be
is the idea. But if it improves performance, it's old for the better. But
Yeah,
we'll see about that.
Right, but that supposedly the performance improvement is not like a thing that this is supposed to be related to. As for the other servers, PC, EU, as well as both console NAs and EUs, is coming at a later date. But apparently there is a back order on these things where they are just not able to do all of them. So let's see. And Kiz actually mentioned that it seems minorly snappier, which great. And that's kind of the thing. Don't look for improvement here because that's not the focus. If anything runs better, great, but don't expect it. Expect it to be the same.
As long as it doesn't work worse.
Exactly. Exactly. As long as it stays at least comparable, well, there you go. Like, so yeah, that's that happened for PCNA, and all other servers are to be determined because they actually did not give dates. My assumption being that they're unsure of when they're going to get the ability to upgrade these.
Yeah.
We also got our new lore master as Lehman Tuttle has moved on to another project within the company. So best wishes to Lehman Tuttle. You have been a great lore master, in my opinion, as well as a pleasure to meet in person at ESO Vegas. And, our original interaction was when I found out that as much as we do with Extra Life, he also is a supporter of Extra Life, which is a great charity. So all around, any of my experiences with Lehman has been very awesome. So hopefully his new endeavor is a lot of fun and very successful for him. In his place, we got our new lore master of Mike Zenke, I believe is how to pronounce his name. Apologies in advance if I completely crushed that. But he was on the most recent ESO Live from, was it Thursday or Friday?
Friday, I believe. Friday, 4 p.m. sometime.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, either way, the previous ESO Live from this recording of the 2nd of May? Yeah. 3rd of May? Just kidding. Yeah. So that last ESO Live, if you would like to see his unveiling, so to speak, very minimal Black Sacrament to summon him and all that good stuff, but he was on the live stream. And all around, he gave some of his background on. It seemed like, from my understanding, he helped in the creation of some pretty well-known stories / characters in the series.
Some of the most fan favorite characters, actually, like Razumdar and Shia Gorath with the Mages Guild quest line and things like that. So yeah, he has a pretty solid background on Elder Scrolls Online, on top of like everything else, but just on Elder Scrolls Online, he's been involved with some of the most fan favorite stuff that the game has seen in the past 8 years. So yeah.
So welcome aboard. Glad to have you as part of the Elder Scrolls Online forward-facing, I guess. I would assume a lore master is a promotion. I don't know why it wouldn't be. So I was going to say, big congrats.
I actually have no idea what exactly they do, but they do.
It's just the coolest title.
Yeah,
I want to put lore master on my resume. I need to write a really crappy book and just say that I'm the lore master of that book, just so I can have it on a resume.
So, yeah, Lehman Tuttle did switch to their other AAA project within ZeniMax Online Studios.
Yeah, because it was brought up in chat, maybe Elder Scrolls 6. That is unlikely, as that would be Bethesda Game Studios. So he's staying within ZeniMax, which would be the AAA. My assumption, at least, would be the AAA MMO project that's unannounced, but
they've been hiring
on the horizon.
They've been hiring specifically for that project for the last like 2-3 years, I believe. Initially, they were actually announcing the people, like some of the big names they were getting. And if I remember correctly, I might be confusing the games, but they had veteran game designers and developers from games like Destiny. For some reason, I have this like memory of reading like Call of Duty. So
wouldn't surprise me.
There was this group of like 6-7 people that they announced, all coming from massive multiplayer projects in the industry. Like it's so that actually, and some of them were shooter related. That's the main part that I remember. So my theory has always been, whatever they are making next, it will involve guns. That's what I've been saying for the past 2 years, because of the names they announced that was going to be leading this new project, and because they had like a lot of shooting games background. And there has actually been news of like, or rumors that there was a quote unquote leak that it's gonna be a Mandalorian game and a Mandalorian MMORPG.
I heard that too. I figured it would be worth at least mentioning that was supposedly leaked. Leaks these days, it's like, are they scripted? Are they full of crap? It's hard to tell. But that was just the only thing that they really had leak, quote unquote. But remains to be seen.
Yeah. But if it is Mandalorian related game, or it's Star Wars in general related game, at least my theory that whatever they are making next will have guns will be proven right. So I'll be happy with that. I'll be happy. I'll take that. Other than that, I have zero interest in Star Wars in general, so
it's not super my thing either. But we shall see.
I liked Mandalorian because it felt more like a Western thing than Star Wars in general. So yeah, but yeah, at least we now know whatever they are working on next will have a great lore master, with Lehman Tuttle, and it seems that we are in good hands for Elder Scrolls Online as well with Mike Zenke. So yeah, all in all, worked out in all ends.
All right.
So you were not ready for me to go silent, weren't you?
I wasn't, and then I opened up Google Docs and blinded myself. Which is the worst.
I just saw on your camera that you were like, oh, I should like switch to Google Docs, and then saw that your camera just got this halo of light in your face.
Beaming light, and my corneas just melted away.
It's 2022. Google is one of the biggest corporations in the world, and Google Docs does not have a dark mode by default. What is this?
We're going to start wearing sunglasses on the show so that we can be really cool and not go blind. Or in my case, blinder. So the other thing that some information is out, and just going to shout out, I mean, there's a lot of great creators who have it covered, but friend of the show, Benevolent Bodhi, and his wonderful site has a whole bunch of information on it. They dropped information on the Zeal of Zenithar upcoming event, so check that out. That'll be, it's still a little ways away, but at the same time, lots of information on that. We're not going to cover everything just yet on it in case anything changes. And once the actual event drops, we can get into it more.
But
look for that coming up on the horizon. It's basically the idea to the Zeal of Zenithar event is Zenithar being the god of like, synopsis wise, the god of like work ethic and tasks and stuff like that. There's some group activity stuff. You do a writ each day, not all your writs. You do a writ each day. I just said we weren't going to discuss this, but whatever. We'll do a quick synopsis here. Well, the repeatable thing you can do, it's a great time. Save your master writs because they will give you the drop boxes from the event. So you can do a whole bunch of them, assuming that's also probably double XP. And then there's some community things for working together with staying with this theme by doing like dungeons and arenas and stuff like that with guildmates, which is a new thing
that's
that
pretty neat.
they've never done. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. It's kind of inspiring you to do some teamwork stuff. So yeah, it seems like it's a new event, obviously. So it'll be curious to see how this one works out, and if they will still give us spider legs from the last event.
Oh my god! Look, I didn't play anything, and also ESO in the last few weeks. Even I have some front spider legs for some reason. I don't know where they came from.
Fine.
I may have done like one writ.
Absorbed through osmosis.
Yeah, but somehow even I have them. It's
what do you call it? The only other thing that I feel is worth mentioning, because we don't necessarily dive too deeply into PTS on the show. We kind of reference it or whatever, talk about stuff. But this was a topic of discussion earlier, and it's just something that I was looking forward to that I'm now less looking forward to, which was the Oaken Soul, or now Oaken Sadness ring, which got nerfed really hard. There was some debate, understandably, on if it was really as crippled as it seemed like it was. And it definitely took a really heavy hit. In terms, you can mimic what it does. So basically, it was it's a ring with a deluge of bonuses, unnamed bonuses, which you sacrifice having a back bar in order to use it. And I thought that sounded really cool for accentuating this one bar build thing that's been going on a whole bunch. But they changed it for, well, I mean, it was pretty overpowered. At least it seemed pretty overpowered, which I make no bones about. I don't care about being overpowered. Bring it on. Yeah. Power creep is my friend. People hate it. I get it. Not me. I did see the problem of it spilling into PvP on a werewolf specifically, because if you are already based on one bar and all of that was buffing you, that's nonsense. There was some some obvious problems there, so it would have needed something to counteract that at minimal. But basically they changed it off unnamed buffs for the most part into named buffs, so
they don't stack anymore.
So exactly, and that's the thing, which I just was trying to make my point earlier to some people. It's not that you can't still have it be useful, especially for solo content. It can still be useful. The problem is, as a side effect of that, and a lot of these buffs being able to be acquired via running in a group by having support and using potions and stuff like that, you cover these things. So this thing is just a lot of redundancy now at the expense of a back bar, which, okay, well, I mean, you've got 100% uptime if you're solo, but like, I don't know. It definitely lost a lot of appeal to me. I don't necessarily think it's going to be like worthless or anything, but it is far less appealing to me, because I liked the idea of like a one bar build being like way more viable for people who can't bar swap. As many people have actually said in the community, and I've shouted out Duma for designing it around. Some people have like issues physically being able to bar swap. So I liked the idea of making it more accessible to them. That's really cool. From my perspective, when I do one bar things, it's because I'm lazy. I don't have it's not like anything like, oh, I can't. I like it for the people who can benefit from that. That's awesome to get them included. For me personally, it's just like, cool, I can do less, but do a decent amount of respectable damage. And that's why I started with one bar until I got better at it and then flip-flopped. And it's like, okay, well, now I use both, but it would be kind of neat if I didn't have to. Less so now. I wanted to just shout out Skinny Cheeks' video discussing it. in the most recent PTS, just because he explained very similar and concisely kind of what I was thinking when I read the patch notes. You can still do some decent damage with it and stuff like that. I just wish instead of turning them all into named buffs, maybe if they did need to nerf it, scale back the unnamed buffs as opposed to just turn them all into something that becomes redundant. That's really, I don't know. We'll see. It just got changed in week 3. Maybe it'll change again. They actually seem to have been listening to some of the feedback on different sets on PTS, so that's good. This is the only one that I was super all about right out the gate that I wanted to mess with. But yeah, so it's something I just wanted to mention because it was something I had brought up before. Less appealing to me personally now, but if you think that's for the best, feel free to let us know or whatever. I think a lot of people felt it did need to be nerfed, but maybe not in the way it was, I guess, is all.
I mean, I'm kind of more interested in that one set that has 12 East bonuses, all just resources, health, magicka, stamina, health, magicka, stamina, health, magicka, stamina.
Yeah, I know people. I know there was some movement of what buffs go where as well with that, so that you couldn't just, I've got 1 or 2 extra pieces floating around. You know what? We'll just put these on and get a massive bonus. I think they push some of the more beneficial things later down the line.
I just want to find a use case for it. Just like
wear all 12 pieces, just like a lunatic.
I don't know what it'll be yet, but I'm definitely gonna find a use case for that set. I don't know. I like dealing with weird sets rather than the actual quote-unquote meta pieces.
Oh yeah, for sure. But that's really, I feel, the big news topics that we probably needed to cover with this one, at least anything that was on my radar personally. So
nothing was on my radar this past couple weeks.
Zero things
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if we have to cover more or if this is the stuff, but that's the news. We do have a fun Tales segment this week by Lotus, which he'll talk about his PAX East experience. But before we get into all that, of course, we have a round of shoutouts to do. Starting with everyone supporting us over at patreon.com/UESP and getting their hands on the upcoming nice Elder Scrolls themed UESP merch. We have mkari_12, which I actually know from Twitter, and a kitten photo, now that I remember, because she asked about it. I had found like kittens on the down the apartment's garage, and now that I just remember that. Anyway, I'll have to take a picture. We have Alexander Sims, Fred, and Sarah. Thank you all so very much for supporting us again over at UESP Patreon. It is appreciated. It helps run your favorite Elder Scrolls pages to run, as well as this show. So it's a double benefit. We also have an iTunes review that I don't remember if we read this last week or not, or rather 2 weeks ago, or if I had just shared this to the group, but I'm gonna read it anyway in the case that we haven't. So it's titled, "This podcast renewed my love for this game. I enjoyed this podcast so much that I have started listening to the back catalog of episodes from the very beginning, which is gonna be a massive but amazing journey. I love the personalities of the hosts and guests, the content, and the pace of each episode. Please keep up the good work. Thanks for helping me fall back in love with ESO." That is from Jinkies. And I really, really appreciate that. Like, if we can get people's love for Elder Scrolls or Elder Scrolls Online to rekindle, that's just great. I mean, that's what the podcast does to me every single time. If it wasn't for Tales, I would have probably quit Elder Scrolls Online a while ago because I'm not an MMORPG player. But
no, I can hear that.
Yeah, doing this show is for me the most enjoyable part of Elder Scrolls Online. So they go hand in hand. Like, if it wasn't for ESO, we wouldn't be doing the show. If it wasn't for the show, I probably would have been a lot less involved with ESO. So,
sure.
The mutual thing. But yeah, Jinkies, we appreciate the 5-star as always, and thank you very much. So before we move on to the Tales segment and let Lotus talk about PAX East, all the things he did, all the people he met, we are gonna have a quick break, and we'll be back with you in a minute. And we are back with the fan favorite segment of the show, Tales of Tamriel, which I'm gonna let Lotus take over completely because, once again, as it is with the theme of this episode, I have nothing to talk about. So Lotus, take it away. What have you been doing? How was PAX East? Who did you meet? Was there any Elder Scrolls specific things that you got to experience?
So PAX East was a ton of fun. Very enjoyable all around. It was definitely a bit peculiar for obvious reasons with, just because things are improving in terms of the pandemic, it's not just gone. So precautions definitely are still a major factor with a lot of things. So it definitely shifted the way the show ran. Bethesda was not my favorite thing that I've always said is Bethesda game days are where the show really shines, which is funny because it's not actually PAX East proper. But unfortunately, Bethesda Game Days was not a thing because they did not travel over to the show. Xbox was not present at the show. Sony was not present at the show, and neither was Nintendo. It was much more indie focused. Wow. Yeah, the big three were missing. So it was very indie focused, a lot of board game focused, stuff like that, which is, one of the things that PAX does actually provide a lot of benefit for people. But I went mainly because, one, it's like down the street.
I'm so jealous of that.
So there's that. But what do you call it? The big thing about it was mainly just getting to see people. Like that's really like the big draw to me is getting to see people in person. And that didn't disappoint at all because I'm just going to do a quick shout out to everybody that I did get to see in person. Sans the people who I'm super glad I met all of you as well. Some of you don't do the whole like content stuff, or you're not super public facing, whatever the case. I don't want to put you on blast if you're uncomfortable with that or anything like that. But people from the ESO fam that I'm pretty sure are okay with me mentioning them in person. I got to meet Nephis in person, which was great because we were joking that at some point in life we were probably going to finally meet each other. So he was here, obviously, and I was glad to see him finally try a lobster roll. I was let down that he was let down and didn't really understand what the hell a lobster roll was. And so that was a thing. But yeah, kudos to everybody for trying all the seafood of the region that did come up here. I got to meet Nelly Serendipity, who leads the Misfits Guild of PvPers. The Fox Den, which is Ninetales and Mrs. Ninetales, Man Cave Gaming, got to meet Avron, Tatanko, Damned Nerd, John, and of course Shirley Curley, who is, or Curry,
Skyrim Grandma.
Skyrim Grandma, who is just adorable. And she actually had a panel, which was very, very amusing. She kind of discussed how she plays through these games, and she discussed the situation of kind of remembering how to do stuff after she had her stroke. Oh, Tatanko's in chat. Hey, buddy. So it was a pleasure to meet her again. I've met her once before. Same with Tatanko, actually. I met him at the last Bethesda Game Days that existed. But it was a pleasure getting to meet everybody in person. We got to all go out and have a couple very nice dinners around Boston. It was a lot of fun. For all of the people who didn't who got the PAX pox or some type of degree of something, because unfortunately, even though you were required to be vaccinated and you did need to have masks on the premises whenever you were there, except for like having a sip of something or like moving it for like a quick second to take a picture and then putting it back on type of thing, masks were required the whole time. However, some people, there was some sicknesses that happened, and actually, this is just something that I saw in the news, and I kind of, it's not Elder Scrolls specifically related, but I kind of wanted to specifically bring it up because I don't want to have it kind of be overlooked, because those that got head colds or whatever, hope they feel better. A couple of people I know did get COVID. They obviously being vaccinated and stuff like that. In most cases, it was good. There was in the news though. I saw it from the massivelyoP.com. Unfortunately, there was a PAX enforcer that passed away. What one person did get COVID and passed on. So it's Dawn D-Star Wood. I just wanted to specifically mention that just because it's still like a thing, as much as people are definitely over the hassle of this stuff. It's still a thing where you do need to balance risk with this stuff. And I'm very glad that PAX went above and beyond Massachusetts regulations for the conference. Like, they were not mandated to do all the stuff they did there. I'm pleased to say that I didn't get anything from the con and stuff like that. But I would be remiss to not mention that specifically, because, even though I didn't know them, that does, that's an awful thing that happened. So please keep taking care of yourselves. Don't just throw all caution to the wind. That's just kind of the only thing with that. I understand things are going back to normal, and I'm certainly glad they are, but just do your best to try to stay safe still.
Yeah.
That's kind of the best way I can put it. The outside Bethesda stuff at the event, it was interesting because it was the first time I was ever granted a press pass under the suggestion of both Pylon and Rich Lambert, because they, at the last Bethesda Game Days, mentioned, they were like, why do you have that pass? And I was like, I don't know. What other pass should I have? And they were like, why don't you have a press pass? I was like, because I'm not press. And they were like, you have a podcast. You absolutely count as press. So I figured, what the hell? I might as well give it a try. And I was actually accepted. And I also learned during the event, because people who are Twitch partners, Man Cave, the Fox Den, Nephis, were declined theirs.
I mean, that's the thing with the podcast. Like, it's the concept of a podcast versus like live streaming. Live streaming or creating YouTube content gets you to collaborate a lot more and get a lot more actively involved with like the developers or whatever you are working on. But then the podcasts doesn't really get that. However, the podcast, due to its, I guess, nature or like the style, does get like those press vibes a little bit more than streaming and stuff like that. So
the other thing that my only guess was, because I'm not gonna lie, we did have like a dinner meeting trying to discuss how any of this crap works, because discussing it with some of the people at the event seemed to result in them kind of not even having specific guidelines for anything. My only guess from our side of things is that we actually, between here at Tales and prior to, we use the Dungeon Crawler Network, and Robots Radio, those are two published websites. So like maybe that, because on the resume, I was just like, yeah, you want to look at my stuff? Here you go. Here's a website and here's another website. So I'm wondering if maybe that got me in just because
That
I
could be it as
mentioned
well.
yeah, so unfortunately it's super nebulous, but I appreciate it that they let me in because I got to go in early before the crowds. I totally got to get some free stuff so that I didn't have to spend as much money on food and drink, which was lovely. And yeah, I got to browse around and see some stuff. I'm a huge Borderlands person, so Wonderlands and Gearbox had a big presence there and had their reveal, not Elder Scrolls related, but that was super entertaining to me. Um, and yeah, in general, it was a lot of fun, but it was mostly fun because of the people I got to meet. It made me miss ESO Vegas and / Bethesda Game Days even more because we had our little cadre of us that met up because it was just like the miniature version of the ESO fam. And it wasn't even an Elder Scrolls related event. Like it was just like we just had our little group there, which was a lot of fun. And it was a pleasure to meet everybody. We like I said, all around very enjoyable experience. And I really hope that things are more normalized so next year it can be more back to normal. Though one thing I will say about PAX East this year is for the first time ever, there was some breathing room on the floor because it was just more spread out without some of the major things. So it's like walking around was actually totally manageable. Also, shout out to the cookie truck that was there. Those were
cookie truck.
There was so there were food trucks. So there's restaurants in the thing. There's stuff like that, and then they're outside in like this pavilion. The weather was beautiful in Boston that weekend, and outside in this pavilion there are just food trucks everywhere.
Oh, okay.
And one of them, after we got food and stuff like that, I was like, man, I'm not a big sweets person, but I was like, I really want something like sweet or whatever, which is weird. And I was like, oh, a cookie truck. So I went over. Those things were crack. I have no idea what was in them. It's just laced with moon sugar. Like, I don't understand. They were incredible. They're in Topsfield, Mass. It's just literally the cookie wagon. Look them up if you're in Topsfield, Massachusetts. It's like a farm area or something. Oh my God, they were so good. So, it's amazing. It's amazing.
No, dude, it's like 5 a.m. in the morning. Where am I gonna get cookies?
I know. I'm sorry. It's just they were so good. They
let
could
alone where am
not
I
be
gonna get
shouted out.
cookies that some random food truck in PAXEast made? Like, come on.
Sorry. But yeah, all in all, it was a ton of fun. Fingers crossed that more events start coming up again, soon, and we'll be able to have another big ESO reveal in one giant pile, and you can fly here and you can join us.
Actually,
you need to come to one of these.
In regards to like the past couple of weeks, events regarding my work stuff and whatnot like that, I might actually be able to afford a trip
Hell
or two.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see.
That's yes. Yes.
I am itching to spend some money, yes. So we'll see about that.
Zoss, it's on you. Make an event.
Yeah. I just need like the one thing is the visa process is a long process. So if I don't know the date quite ahead of time,
it'll be a little tricky.
Yeah. If I get an official like an invite thing though, like from the event or from the company or something like that, then it's like, yep, just fly in. Otherwise, it can take time. So
sure.
When the time is right, I'm just gonna talk to Zas. Like, can you just formally invite me just because I can speed this up
and join? Like,
yeah.
It can really not be that big of a deal, but just say you're inviting me, please.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's pretty much my recap of PAX East. Check out any of the people I mentioned for their coverage of it. I tried to make a little like video thing of just everybody's saying hi and stuff. And the audio quality was shit. So I didn't post that because it was garbage. And I did not have the quality equipment for that type of thing. So it sounded like crap. And I was just like, nah, I'm not going to put this out. You can check out anybody else, Foxden, Man Cave, Nephis, Nelly, anybody who did a much better job than I could have done with my not professional equipment there.
I love your video with Nine Tails, where you just she just goes like, "Look, we found it's Lotus," and then completely ignores Lotus on the set to say, talk about other things.
I was also like eyeing my chicken plate. Like, because in that video, we didn't have a mask on because we were literally off to the side in the food area. Like, because again, it's only designated areas. It was like, ooh, we'll just scooch over to this corner. And like, food was ready. So I was like, oh man, I'm real hungry. I'm like eyeing the table for us to stop. But
I really enjoyed that. But yeah,
I think a lot of people got a laugh out of that one. So, no, a lot of fun. And then I haven't done a ton in game either because between work, PAX East, and everything else, I've gotten to play some, but the only real things of note that I figured I would just shout out for goofy stories was we were messing around with Black Rose Prison. I'm in an Unchained Prague, but it wasn't that group. We were just like, hey, there's some of us around. Want to just see if we can get some of these weird achievements out of the Black Rose Prison. And I learned that I don't know who came up with some of these, but they're weird. For anybody who, I mean, you've messed with Black Rose Prison a little bit. That Black Rose Prison is kind of a mess. It's just a lot. It's one of the hardest things to do as a 4-player group.
Yeah.
And some of the achievements relate to very, very specific things during fights, several of which include doing the fights incorrectly.
Oh, yeah.
Which is weird. Specifically in Arena 3, it's the vampire arena. With Lady Minara or whatever it is. So basically one of the achievements, I believe it's called Skeletal Summoning or something like that. The idea is you want to avoid these swirling blue portals that appear and float around the map. And you want to kill these skeletal mages that are popping up, because if the mages sit around for too long, they'll sacrifice themselves into the blue portals and they'll summon these giant bone colossuses. And the bone colossuses will tether to the boss, making the boss invincible until they die, and they do crazy amounts of damage. And for skeletal summoning, you need to spawn 3 of them within the first 30 seconds of the fight.
Oh my god. So basically don't touch anything. Just let everything play out.
Not even let everything play out. That's not fast enough. You need to run into the portals
to
screw that up. Then get more skeletons to spawn and let them hang out while you're trying to jump into portals. It is ridiculous. And then it's not just do it. You have to win. Like, you have to clear the fight. So It's not just do it and then cool, here's your achievement. It's do the fight wildly incorrectly is what it was. And it was ridiculous. Like, we were goofing around in there. Like, to be fair, it was really funny doing some of the things we did. That one worked out. We almost got it, but we actually want to go back into it. There's one called the Thrilling Trifecta, which is the notorious Arena 4, which is the first 3 arena bosses basically at the exact same time. And they come out at stages of health. So it's like a controllable thing. And normally you want to, like, okay, nuke this one off, kill that one to summon this one. Then you get a little bit of cleave damage, but focus that one down so you don't deal with its mechanics. Thrilling Trifecta is killing all 3 of the bosses within 20 seconds of each other.
Oh my god.
So you need to have all of the crap up at the same time. So you need to damage them just enough to summon the next one, but leave them alive. And then they're going to be doing their mechanics plus bringing in their summons while you bring in the next one. And then you need to kill all three of them within 20 seconds. We got really, really close. But the big problem, well, there were two pretty big problems. There were two sort of problems we ran into. One was awkward, was we would accidentally kill the first boss.
Oh no.
Because she's melee, unless it's the one from the first arena where she does like the spinning fire geyser thing.
Yeah.
So she'll go to the middle for that every time. The rest of the time she's melee. So she keeps running at whoever's trying to do stuff. So she's always taking cleave damage, which is very problematic. And we had problems with, there was one where we had her at literally 4,100 hit points and somebody was just kiting her around the outside of the arena, desperately trying to keep her from taking any damage. While we whittled down the other two, did not work.
Don't sneeze on it.
Yeah, pretty much, because even a puncture would have killed her at that point. Like we couldn't even taunt her anymore. It was all over. So that was problematic. The other big problem, which was after we stopped, we were kind of strategizing on if we go back to do it again, like something we could do a little better to make sure they could all come out, is it's not the second boss, it's not the first boss, it's not even the third boss. It's the fact that when Tames the Beast, the obnoxious one, everybody's big issue from Arena 2, the Argonian who summons a Wamasu, a Hajmoda, river trolls, and all this crap. It's summons that are the problem. It's not him. And we can it's relatively easy to get rid of the Wamasu, which spawns first. The problem we had was that damn Hajmoda would come up and we're like, okay, we have to just nuke the Hajmoda. Like, that's what. But then the Hajmoda would run directly onto the middle boss, like the boss when she does the flame spout. So he's chucking rocks at us while we're trying to dodge the flame spout. And while we're killing him, we're killing the boss that we need to keep alive.
Yeah.
So it was just, it was an absolute disaster. And
things you do for achievements, man. It's insane.
It's worth 10 points.
I don't have
points.
It in me. 10 points for all of that? Nah.
All of that is 10 points. We were having some fun with it. And in the end, our strategy that we almost got it, we screwed up at the very end and we killed the other one too early. We were like, no, the first boss died to basically natural causes. We got rid of the Hajmoda. We got rid of the Wamasu. We had just the 3 bosses, but like, the other boss died off too quick. We weren't ready to pop the other 2 because we had been trying to focus on the mini crap first and then nuke. We had the whole room almost dead too, but it was just, everything went south all at once. So it was like, no. We started doing it with 2 tanks. So one of the tanks would grab the bosses and just run away with them. One of the tanks would scoop up all of the little crap
I guess that makes sense.
To pull it. So we started to get pretty good at doing that, and it's just everybody needed to self-sustain at that point. It was like, nah, man, you're on your own. But it was pretty entertaining. Black Rose Prison is a mess, but that was pretty fun. There's some other ones in there. The only other one which is weird for doing it wrong is the final fight. You have to collect the ghosts so that he doesn't do this giant spectral explosion and blow everybody up.
Oh.
Well, there's one for making sure he always gets 2 ghosts so that you take a whole lot of spectral explosion damage. And I'm like, of course there is. Why wouldn't there be? And yeah, it was just, there's some goofy stuff in there that we were messing around with. So that was really kind of all my ESO time. I didn't really have a lot other than just some random, not important stuff. Finally got Dungeon Tales coming back out for everybody who is interested in that series. It was a little hiatus because of PAX East. And I did submit a bug report as well as let the team know. Dire Frost keeps a little wonky. So Dire Frost Keep is the one that I actually just launched earlier today. If you're interested in the story of Dire Frost Keep, it's just on my YouTube. The speaking stones actually start the next dialogue before it finishes the previous dialogue.
What?
It's a weird thing. But if you're not doing the story, you'll never really notice this. But basically, the speaking stone will be like, and then we went into then blah blah, and it just immediately skips like the last word. It's just bizarre. It sounds like I hit skip dialogue, but I didn't because it's not a thing you interact with.
Yeah.
And we did the dungeon several times trying to find ways to fix it, and we just got the least offensive version. But like I said, I let the team know that it's like, well, it's not game breaking or anything. And if you play with subtitles, you can read what it says. And it's literally like just the last word. But it's weird when you're doing the story. It sounds like when you're skipping dialogue, except you're not skipping dialogue. And I'm like, well, that is just
I don't
bizarre
remember that at all. But then again, I haven't done that dungeon in ages, so
right. And Dire Frost Keep, that's an OG like original vanilla dungeon from East March. It's like, but so that was just something of note that was a little peculiar in there. And then finally, as as always, I have no stream schedule of my own to speak of, but with the Bethesda launcher shutting down and them just migrating everything over to Steam, you can now get the classic Elder Scrolls games on Steam. In fact, you can get the whole series of any that are on a computer, not using emulators, of course. So Shadowkey, Stormhold, and Dawnstar don't count. They're all on Steam now. And Arena and Daggerfall are free still. You can just download them for free. They are they're hilariously small. I believe Arena is like 28 megs.
26. I checked
26
because I'm
megs,
planning on playing.
26 megs, my mistake. So I downloaded those obviously, and I uploaded the whole Battle Spire live stream to my YouTube, and I had several people ask. They were like, "Oh, didn't you do Arena? Like, could you upload those?" And I was like, "Oh, it's on my Twitch." Actually, I was like, "You know what? Maybe I can." And if you listen way back to those, the first time I played it, I didn't think anybody would actually want to watch that. Little did I know how much people enjoy suffering. So the very first episode, I did not stream. The second 2 episodes or 3 episodes that I did, Twitch didn't save them for whatever reason. I think I saved them wrong when I clipped them or something. But basically, they were lost. Like, they're just not there. And then the rest of the series, starting with Labyrinthian forward, it's all archived, so I can just upload them. And I was like, you know what? Let's test out the Steam version, and then I will get the beginning of the game, and we'll have a full playthrough. So I made a different character based on the last episode we had. I made myself a Breton, and sure enough, can confirm Benefactor is just as smart as everybody thinks he is. The first thing that it tells you is that as a Breton, you're a descendant of the Druids of Galen. Exactly the reference he made. It's totally in your opening dialogue on the world map. So cool. So yeah, that was a neat little thing, and that's exactly why I did that. On the flip side, you will very much know when I'm no longer playing the Steam version on the YouTube uploads, because I will suddenly become a Redguard. because that was my original playthrough. I made Breton and jumped back into the game, and there are a couple things to note about the Steam version. The Steam version, at least in my experience, is unbelievably simple to get working. It literally just download it, click it on Steam, it starts up. I have 5 hours of gameplay on it. I have not had a crash once.
Oh, there you go. I'm thinking now that it's on Steam and it's sort of like plug and play almost.
It totally is.
I am thinking of doing a stupid thing myself.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be a good start for this channel to, get back out there. It's
that's right.
Tales of Tamriel plays Elder Scrolls.
Hell yeah. And on Friday, I jumped into that version and I played through it. I figured maybe people would just be kind of interested in seeing how it might play, because again, Arena's a very old game and I forgot most everything. But the few things that I did actually remember was, one thing is the same problem that plagued me in Battlespire is I can't hit the broadside of a barn in that game. I just miss just hundreds and hundreds of times. So I was like, I gotta crank up my agility. Like that'll. And the first couple of rats, every single swing, I was like, yeah, suck it, rat. And I killed off those rats, no problem. And then as soon as I stopped fighting rats, I can't hit anything. And I was like, I put all of my points into this. I literally can't be any better than this. And I just can't hit anything. So I managed to go a little faster, even though a lot of it was fumbling around. The notes, because I said there are some differences, it is not the CD-ROM versions of the game, for what that's worth. Just be aware of that. The difference being the floppy disk versions don't have dialogue on the cutscenes. So the very first cutscene, you won't have any dialogue, but then later on in my videos on YouTube, they will start having dialogue.
So wait, we don't hear the "you're a fool" to blah blah blah.
Correct. Yes,
come on.
know. So that's exactly it. Jaeger's douchebag voice is not in this version. Neither is Ria's actually relatively decent voice acting. But yeah, so be aware of that. The cutscenes will not have dialogue in this version. I believe it's the same for Daggerfall as well. I have not kicked off Daggerfall yet. I wanted to just get this so I could upload those. And then I'm kicking off Daggerfall actually sooner rather than later, hopefully. But the other note about this, which is super bizarre, I guess, just because it didn't dawn on me at first. I knew there was something about the first dungeon that was different in the CD-ROM version, and I found out what that something was. There is a portal at the very end of the first dungeon where, when you walk through the portal, you just go out into the city. You're out of the dungeon. That's the CD-ROM version. In the floppy disk version, there is a basically DRM thing where the running joke for anybody who watched these streams originally would remember, or listen to Tales, I guess, where I ranted about this all the time. The riddle doors, just the constant inane riddle doors everywhere. So there is an extra riddle door to get out of the first dungeon. And the answer is in the instruction booklet to make sure you purchased the game and didn't steal it.
I mean, that's one way to do it.
It sure is.
Like, right now, it would be completely pointless because internet. But thinking back to 94, it kind of makes sense because, you couldn't just, like, tweet, hey, what's the answer to this freaking door? Just go on Reddit to find the answer.
Right. Yeah. Or, I was going to say, use UESP because it's totally right there. You can totally use the unofficial.
I mean, then again, UESP caught up to it in like 95. So
I think so. So right out the gate, it would have been problematic. But yes,
so just like 1 year after Arena comes up with this solution, UESP launches and answer. I mean,
so. Yeah, but like that was interesting. So it was an extra riddle door. I actually did not really remember the riddles very well because I had a couple riddle doors when I went through Fang Lair. And man, that game is just even knowing what's coming. So originally, and the gimmick that I do to these for everybody is I try to play them as if it was the first time I had access to them, like I was playing them originally. So I don't look anything up in advance. And I've played through Arena now, so like going through it again, I'm like, well, I'll probably remember. I don't remember squat, apparently, because I have no idea. I guess I blocked it out, but oh my god, you can get good at games. Don't get me wrong, and people absolutely can probably do these way more. This game is brutal. One of the basically, to complete Fanglair and get the first piece of the Staff of Chaos, I'm actually kind of curious if this is similar to the previous time that I did this and talked about this on Tales. So this is like a weird thing. Am I doing deja vu and I don't even realize it? I answer the riddle, and shout out to chat, because I was sitting there slack-jawed trying to figure out the riddle, and somebody figured it out, and I was like, oh my god, that's so simple. Why am I dumb? I open the door and I blow up immediately. And I'm like, what? Why? So I do it again, and it turns into like 10 minutes of me desperately trying to get the door open and then dive for cover. Because on the other side of the door, that you have to, the game pauses, you have to manually type in your answer. It will open the door automatically upon it being correct. So it's not like you then choose to do it. It's just you come out of typing and you're already like, hope you're ready. It's a square room with just the Staff of Chaos and 3 Hellhounds that are just blasting fireballs at the door all the time.
I don't.
That's mean-spirited.
I don't remember you like if I feel like if this was the case in your last playthrough, I would remember this.
Yeah, so I opened the door and immediately I opened the door, I was just dead. So I'm like, dude, what the hell? And even chat was like, what just happened? so I had to basically open the door, dive for cover, lure them around the corner so that I could poke them just barely while I was recovering health, and they were hopefully blasting each other. Whatever, I got the Staff of Chaos piece. I think I'm completely caught up because I believe the next thing is Labyrinthian. I'm going to double check. At most, there will be one more Arena stream, and then if you want to watch the full playthrough of Arena because you're curious about Elder Scrolls 1 Arena and how the series started, you can just check out my YouTube. It's just going to be uploads of all of them pretty much. But yeah,
very explicit. Just a fair warning. Lotus playing Arena is explicit.
Me playing the old games, yeah. So they're not work appropriate. I
earmuffs on the kids and everything like that.
I struggle a bit. Like it's fun. It's fun to experience them. It's even more fun to experience them with everybody else. Also, one thing that has been a running joke for a very long time, and I appreciate everybody who hung out with me while I did this, was apparently we were the #1 Arena streamer at the time again, which was the running joke. It's like, oh, I'm the best Arena streamer because there's one person streaming Arena. But somebody brought up the fact that I guess during that stream, we actually had more people watching Arena than both the Daggerfall and Morrowind directories, which I also thought was really, really funny at the time. So to everybody who swung by to watch that catastrophe, as well as people who raided in, so other people could watch that catastrophe, which was also funny. Because we got some raids where people were like, these are the old games, enjoy everybody. And I'm like, oh dear God. It's like, you guys make these way more entertaining. So
yeah, I mean, that's like playing these without the audience, the old games would be, I don't know, a lot more frustrating than it is when you're playing it on a live stream. Like,
and that's the only thing I like to warn people is just because it's fun.
Doesn't mean I enjoy it. It's
well, that's why it's like the frustration level is a balance of I stay not so frustrated I'm not having fun, but man, it is frustrating enough that it's like, yeah, it is definitely not PG-13 or anything like that. It is absolutely your own time, probably not for your kids. There is a lot of frustration swearing. But yeah, so that's pretty much been my adventures since last time I was here.
Yeah, that was good. That still made a full show.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, and when I get the time, I really want to check out Arena. I'm not saying I'm gonna finish it because I don't have the broken mind of Lotus when it comes to throwing myself at weird achievements or weird, challenge runs or playing old Elder Scrolls games and things like that. He has a completely different mind. But I'm definitely interested in trying out Arena and Daggerfall as well. That they are on Steam, and I don't have to go through weird stuff to actually get them working and things like that.
Right.
So.
The only other thing, which maybe it was an original plan we had, and it never came to fruition, mainly because of just a myriad of technical problems, which these games are very prone
the Battlespire multiplayer idea.
Yeah, I wonder if it works better on Steam.
It might, actually.
It might actually work on Steam. If it works on Steam, I still want to make that happen because that's probably just a disaster if we could get some people from the community. And I know several people who... Now, the only thing I want to just tell people, Redguard and Battlespire are not free on Steam. They're $5 maybe.
I'm curious.
They're not expensive, but they're not free like the first two. Just so people are aware, because I did think a couple people thought that everything was free. It's not. 1 and 2 are free, and then the ones after that cost money.
I mean, how much can they be?
I think it was $4.99 on GOG, so I don't probably somewhere around that price. If you're price checking for me, I think it's.
So
$6 maybe.
My prices are different, so this is not gonna make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, hold up. Let's see if I can do it real quick. This
probably
is great for audio.
$5 though. So...
I would assume it's got to be like $5. I can't imagine it would be more than that.
Oh my god. Oh no, the scamp. I see. They have all the images and whatnot as well, because you have a Steam store page. And it's oh my god. One friend wants this game. Who is this?
$6.
Which friend is this?
It's $5.99 apparently. Kitsu.
Also, similar to games you have played, has Elder Scrolls Online and Cyberpunk for Battlespire. User reviews positive. Wait, I'm curious about the reviews.
Okay, now they're just lying about things.
Hold on, where are there actual reviews? There are actual reviews. Okay, let me read some of these. Now,
please do.
Hold on.
Let's end the show on Battlespire reviews, please.
Okay, so recommended 0.7 hours on record. At least it's not another Skyrim remake. I'm gonna skip some of these. Finally, the collection is together now. An Elder Scrolls Legends indeed, but a legend for all the wrong reasons. Other than that, I played it before the Steam release, clunky, buggy, and had to fiddle with configuration stuff to make it boot into full screen, right?
Are these positive reviews?
Yeah, they are positive reviews. They are recommended reviews.
Someone is broken as shit. Thumbs up.
Yeah, baby, that's what I've been waiting for. That's what it's all about. Woohoo! Someone's very excited. It just works, and the account name is actually Todd Howard.
Good.
I don't even know what to do. Apparently, I have to escape the Battlespire Tower that are being invaded by Mehrunes Dagon and his army. The game has this eerie atmosphere, and I kind of liked it. A mix of... This is a proper review, actually, yeah.
That is totally legit.
Yeah.
That is the thing I said the whole time. I was like, the vibe
I remember with the music and everything.
Is awesome.
A mix of horror and adventure. Unfortunately, the game ruined it by crashing and restarting itself every single time you died. So it's going to be a hard time for you to learn the game and experiment with the skills. The controls are a mess and gameplay is very choppy. I know this game is old, but come on, even Daggerfall ran better than this.
Okay, so that seems like a very accurate
this was a not recommended review. Okay.
If these are the recommended ones, I can't wait to hear this.
Just spend all your points until you get 200 wounds, then main hand-to-hand with also the advantage of rapid healing and regenerate health. Oh yeah, and if you have extra points, you should invest in absorb spells from the advantages and cure health spell. So that was it.
Okay, so
but yeah, there are actual reviews on them. Like also, now I want to go through the entire series and just look at the reviews. Dude, does the arena have reviews? Hold on.
Dude, this is what we need to do for next show. We need to get some of the best reviews and organize some of these out. We need to have a reviews section next time from Steam.
Okay, yeah, we'll definitely do that. Okay, I'm checking.
Save this. We totally have to do this next show.
Battlespire had positive reviews. Elder Scrolls Arena has very positive reviews. And it actually has over 250 reviews, yeah. So dude, yeah, we definitely should do that next episode. That's a good idea.
See, now as funny as this is, I'm trying to think, would I give Battlespire I would not give a good review to. Would I give Arena a good review?
I mean, it's so difficult because how are you going to judge it when... Well, I guess, you don't have to judge it when it is. It's just a matter of, would you enjoy the game now? Or, so... I don't know.
You need to be sick to enjoy these, but at the same time, it's not that as frustrating and infuriating as they are. The settings are neat and stuff. I don't know. It's hard to. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I would say. I don't have an. Yeah, I don't know. We definitely have to sift through all these for next show and do a dramatic reading of Steam reviews, and we can just do different games.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of the show. Unless you have anything else in mind?
No, that's pretty much it. I think that pretty much covers everything.
All right, well, then what are your final thoughts and where can people find you?
You can find me at Lotus of Doom pretty much everywhere. Like I said, if you're interested in any of the stuff I've been uploading to YouTube, whether it's my arena playthrough or any of the Dungeon Tale things, it's right over there. Very easy to find. You just look for Lotus of Doom. I stream when I can, but it's super random. And yeah, I was going to say Twitch and Twitter and all that stuff. It's just nice, easy to find. Lotus of Doom if you need to get a hold of me.
There you go, folks. All that stuff we talked about with the suffering, pain, the sick mind of Lotus of Doom, you can find them under that name. As for us...
I was going to say, the only other thing, I guess if you want a grounded version of this instead of off the rails me screaming and stuff like that, you can also check out Elder Scrolls Lorecast on which I do with Robots Radio or Tom, where it's grounded on actually discussing lore-related things, which oftentimes relates to some of these older games in a less rage-induced way.
Yeah. So, as for us and everything we do, you can follow all of that over at talesoftamrielpodcast.com. There you can find links to all of our social media, including Twitch, YouTube, Twitters, our own accounts, and things like that. Be sure to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/UESP if you want to help support the show and earn awesome Elder Scrolls themed rewards. You can also consider leaving us a 5-star review on iTunes so people know that we are a real podcast, that we say real words, and sometimes it matters. Thank you all so very much for joining us on this episode of Tales of Tamriel, and we will see you all next time. Have a great night.
When Akatosh slew Lorcan, he ripped his heart right out. He hurled it across Tamriel, and the heart was heard to shout, red diamond, the heart and soul of men. Red diamond, protect us till the end. The laughing heart sprayed blood afar, a gout on sear it fell, and like a dart shot to its mark down in an alien well. Magicka fused the Lorcan blood to crystal red and strong. Then wild elves cut and polished it down to chimel at a ball. Red diamond, the heart and soul of men. Red diamond, protect us till the end. When elves lost Nirn to men, Akatosh gave the stone to Saint Alesh in token of her right to sit the throne. Red diamond, the heart and soul of men. Red diamond, protect us till the end. Red diamond, protect us till the end.